Well, welcome back to Barrel Ice Complex. It is a Class Division II matchup between the 5-0-0-0-1 Carrick Cougars and the Avonworth Antelope, who are 4-1 on the season, joined on this broadcast by Dave Fryer. Dave, how's it going, buddy? I haven't talked to you in a while.
Good, partner. How are you, sir?
I'm doing all right. I got to bring you up a little bit. Didn't get a chance to do a live. There you go. You're better in there now. All right. So we're going to start with the visiting Carrick Cougars, led by Chris Sarakowski. In goal, starting in goal, number 1, Logan Keedy. Zach Conley will be wearing number 4. Tanner Heinkamp will be wearing number 9. Ivan Mankulich will be wearing number 11. I apologize if I botch any of these names. I didn't get to see them as often. Aiden Eigenbrod will be wearing 22. Cody Schmidt will be wearing 28. Elijah Zeiss-Miller will be wearing number 51. Lexi Jones will be wearing 57. Alex Wright will be wearing 62. Ian Norkovicius will be wearing number 67. Tyson Feldman will be wearing number 71. Frank Christopher, 75. Jake Feltzer, a scratch here this evening, is suspended. And 83 would have been wearing 83. Max Jackal will be wearing 84. Mason Hagen will be wearing 94. And Aiden Forcucci will be wearing number 98. For the Avonworth Antelope in the white with silver numbers and red trim, it will be number 1, Ben Coral. We assume will get the start tonight. I didn't get an official word before the game on that one. I believe he is their bona fide starter as a junior. They only have a handful of seniors on this roster. Austin Gaddy will be wearing number 5. Eli Sanzeri will be wearing 10. Avery Leffler will be wearing 15. Braden Penrose will be wearing 19. Dylan Teddies will be wearing 25. Jackson Volmer, 39. RJ Newlett will be wearing 51. Jake Seaforth will be wearing 9, not the original listed 52. Zach Nacy will be wearing 56. Jonah Lancey will be wearing 61. Mark Rawenswinder will be wearing number 62. Zach Goldfein will be wearing 82. John Seifert will be wearing number 83. Sean McIntyre, 88. The Avonworth Antelope, led by Steve Guest, 4-1 on the season. They are in second in the North Division of Class 2, Division 2. So, with that being said, I'll hand it over to Mr. Dave Fryer, and we'll talk a little bit about the Open Division and how it's built at Avonworth, built with a team with Ambridge, of course, noted, and Carrick. I believe it's a hodgepodge of the city school.
Both of these schools have several partner schools, I guess you want to put it. They're part of the co-op. Avonworth has been around for a while. Ambridge existed long before they did, and they still have the Ambridge logo on the back of their jerseys.
I like that. They're one of the few teams that actually reflects the team. It's a long-term relationship with Ambridge. They have the Ambridge logo above their names on this logo.
I believe there's a couple more involved in that co-op, but those are the two big ones involved there. First of all, I think that now that you said it, the last time you and I worked together, we discussed antelopes and antelope.
Oh, geez.
So that's one of the nicer jerseys in the league and one of the cooler nicknames we got in the PIHL or in in Western Pennsylvania, the Avonworth Antelope. The matchup tonight, to me, Brian, is going to be offense versus defense. We've got the highest scoring team in Class B in the Carrick Cougars that have put up 53 goals in their 6 games, almost 9 goals a game. On the other end, Avonworth has allowed only 7 goals in 5 games. So both goaltenders, there are 2 goaltenders for Avonworth that have put up pretty good numbers this year. That will probably be the difference. If those goaltenders can play well tonight, the Carrick might not know what to do because they are certainly an offensive juggernaut. Not that Carrick is so bad on the defensive end, but they've allowed 17 goals in their 6 games. So the game to me is going to be played to our left here. If the goaltender for Avonworth can play well and keep the puck out of his net early on, that may be enough to frustrate Carrick. But it is certainly going to be an even matchup. Both of these teams are very good squads in Class B this year.
I laugh because last time I was here covering Avonworth, I believe it was the second week of the season, and it was Coral getting the start, and apparently that was his only start of the season, and I misspoke. So I believe it'll be John Seifert. You mentioned the numbers, an hour, 146 minutes in net, a .968 save percentage. She's only given up 2 goals on the year in those 5 games over 146.
To put that number, I said defensively in perspective, the lowest goals against in Class B. Actually, Canada has allowed 5 goals in 6 games, so they're second. But 4 of their 7 goals they've allowed this year came in that game you're speaking of. So
yeah,
Seifert has certainly played exceptionally well. Not that Coral is anything to write off either. So whoever's in net tonight, again, I think you're correct in Seifert because I see him hanging around the net here, in the crease rather, that is. So we'll see who gets the start. I don't think it matters so much. Again, it comes down to if they play well, because both of them are certainly capable of doing so.
And Carrick showing a little bit of a couple games showing that they can bleed a little bit. The loss to Elizabeth Forward a couple weeks ago, and I'll let the cat out of the bag. Our first broadcast in December will be at Ross Straver Ice Garden. It will be that Ringgold and Elizabeth Forward matchup. But with that being said, we're in a game right now, and Carrick losing a shootout to the Elizabeth Forward Warriors, who are absolutely on a tear recently through Class Division 2. So one of those teams to watch out for as we continue to move along throughout the season. It's starting to really come down from the top and really start to even out as, the last couple seasons it's been controlled by a handful of teams, your Burls, your Ringgolds, your Carricks. Now other teams are starting to get involved and being interested, in the top of play. So
yeah, it's that time of year. We're approaching Thanksgiving where the standings start to become the standings.
Yeah.
And everyone starts to look at them and say, where do we sit here? And, we always talk about from an administrative side in hockey that Christmas is usually the point where players decide in the second half of the year if they're going to play hockey or take penalties. But this stretch between now and then is kind of what that makes the determination of whether they're going to play hockey or they're going to be watching in the postseason. So, then D2's wide open. There's always some teams that come up and down the standings, and Carrick's certainly been that in the last few years. Avonworth is looking to join that group. They've never really been a contender, but this looks like a pretty good year for them. So these couple games that they have before the break are going to help determine if they're going to be in that mix or not. Yeah,
absolutely, and we're going to drop the puck here. It's going to be McLean dropping the puck, win by Carrick will dump it in.
A note to our left, Coral is in net.
Coral is the starter here, is the starter tonight. Norcovicius will go behind the net. The captain gets it up for Wright. Wright will just pass it around back in. I'll get the names with the numbers here as we progress, as I always do. It's tough with all the teams that I cover to try to remember every name and every number. So we'll get there, but it'll be picked up and thrown in by Feldman and Carrick. One big loss for this game is Jake Fetzer being out. He's a big shooter for them. And unfortunately, he has a suspension right now, so he will be missing this contest.
Yep, Feltzer has 6 assists in 6 games this year, so he's a setup man. He has 1 goal to add to that as well. Yeah, their big shooters are Hyde, Cam, Norcovicius, and Feldman. They're still in the lineup tonight. Avonworth will dump it into the zone behind the starting goaltender, Logan Keedy. We'll pass it out. Norcovicius will get it up. Mankulich will throw it behind the net. Goldfein will go get it, but it'll be Norcovicius. Back down and picked up by Feldman. He'll battle on. Lexi Jones will just dump it in. Volmer back out for Lexi Jones. She'll take it, pass it across. And in comes Heidkamp. Heidkamp comes in, pounces it off the post. They'll go behind. It'll be cleared in, and Jones will just knock it down. It'll sit on the sideboards. The shot will come in and behind the net. They'll battle off. Heidkamp waits, top of the slot, looks for the backhand. Forcucci. I'm trying to get the pronunciations down on a couple of these. Down for Heidkamp. He'll wait. He'll get muscled off by McIntyre. Sean McIntyre will get it out of the zone, and it's going to head up to Seiferth. Seiferth will carry it in. Wait. Throw on. Just hits the post and out. Roundswinder will just throw it back out. Leffler will take it back into the zone, and Carrick will have to collect it behind the net. Icing.
Icing is the call. 14:52 remaining in the first.
Looked like a lot of Carrick coming early here. Certainly Heidkamp is a dominant force out there for them and controlled a couple plays in the offensive zone. And went the other way, and I believe you called it. I didn't see it hit the post, but we both heard it. I'm not sure where the puck went there, but we both heard the post.
It hit the outside of the post when it crossed the front. So it just same. Both had the opportunities. The same thing happened. Bounced it off the post early in this game. Leffler goes behind the net. Ian Norkovicius will get it behind the net. It goes for Newlett. Newlett gets it around, and Lanzy's. Tedis will take it into the zone. Teddy's throws it in front, and Gaddy looks to try to get it around Norkovicius, and it's going to go out. Mankulich back into the corner. They'll battle along the walls. Leffler thrown on. An opportunity here for Norkovicius. He throws it off the crossbar. They're playing 3-bar. They're doing good today. Opportunity back out, and Avonworth will take it. Coral won't see the shot. It'll be blocked by Leffler and back out. That'll be Eganbrode. We'll just dump it back deep into the zone. Coral will let it go. And carried out by Nacy. Nacy will throw it in behind the net. Eganbrode. Let it go back out, and here comes Heidkamp. Big number 9. Forciucci scores! He goes short side above the blocker of Coral, under the blocker of Coral, and 13:40 remaining. It is 1-0 Carrick.
Yeah, good play by Carrick there. They're going straight north-south, coming into the zone. They're not trying to mess around with it too much. They're driving hard to the net. They got a shot there. Coral, it's hard to predict where he plays amateur if he's played lately, but we talked about, you did see that he played earlier in this year. He actually played part of the game against Burrell. But he looks a little bit shaky late in this game so far because he's been sitting a little bit deep in his crease, and they got him on that one.
Sinceri will just dump it across, and it's going to go out of play. Face-off will come down to the right. 13:30 remaining here in the first period. 1-0 Carrick leads Avonworth.
That was the first actual shot of the game. Like you said, they're playing 3-bar. They have 3 posts so far, 1 shot, 1 goal.
Sinceri looking for Goldfein. Is going to be picked up and brought in by Heidkamp. He'll collect it behind the net, but it's going to be picked up by Nacy. Nacy looking to go all the way down and can't get it out. Jones up to the point. Lancy, nice little keep in. Back out for Goldfein, who gets around Jones. Goldfein waits, looks for the backhand, waits, goes behind the net anyway. Back into the far corner has Volmer. Volmer calls for it, gets the puck. Shot, looking for the tip opportunity. Opportunity is there. Oh! Bounces off the pad of Keedy, and it'll go out of the zone. Lancy. Sinceri throws it up, and it's going to be carried in. You're seeing it early, the two teams just feeling each other out at this point, and you got to wonder, what's it going to make, a difference here, because you're seeing Avonworth getting the opportunities on Carrick. That's going to go up and off the boards. Leffler in front. He's going to get the puck, and the Antelope will come the other way. They'll wait. They'll throw it across. Good pass. Shot just wide of the net by Seifert. And it's going to go in a penalty coming up. It's going to be...
I think it was a hook. No, maybe not.
Call.
Maybe there's not a... There you go. There's a hook in the corner there.
They're calling it
That's a rough.
On Zeiss Miller. And he'll head off for 2 minutes.
Before we get into this power play, let's note that was a pretty big, despite being very early, Akiti made that real nice pad save. That there looked like it'll be a wide open net, and he came sliding across, got the pad on it. That just makes the next goal that much more important because a 2-0 game or a 1-1 game is all the difference in some of these. And again, it's only first period, but a lot of things can happen. But that's a big save because it changes the outcome or the face of the game and the outcome of this power play completely different if they can't score, because it goes from, again, what could have been a 1-1 hockey game to the momentum now shifting to the Carrick side immediately by killing this penalty.
Avonworth brings it in offside. We'll have a face-off won by Carrick back all the way down the ice, and it'll go behind for Coral. Ben Coral behind. That'll be cleared up, and looking for it was McIntyre. Bounces back to Carrick. They'll dump it back down. 1:34 remaining in the advantage for Leffler. Leffler behind the net. has Winter. He goes up for him, and it'll go past him and cleared all the way down the ice. And on the power play, they take an icing.
So Carrick setting up very passive 1-1-2 on the forecheck on the penalty kill. It's barely even a forecheck. I hate to even use that word because they're just looking to set up and force Avonworth to go left or right. And if they go left, they all go left. And if they go right, they all go right, and they've kind of pinned them. So Avonworth is trying to make passes instead of skating the puck, and that one just didn't connect with anyone.
Face-off won by Avonworth. They'll try to get it back into the zone. $1:21 remaining in the power play. Back behind Nacy. It'll be Zach Nacy pushing it up. It'll just be picked up by Heidkamp and dumped back in. It's just inconsistent play for Avonworth early on. They're just not able to finish the plays. They're forcing passes into the zone, and hopefully something works here for them. Nacy behind the net. Sanzeri will switch with him. We'll go down for Sanzeri low. He'll dump it up the boards with nobody home, and it's going to go clear the length of the ice. Coral will have to come out and play it. 46 seconds remaining in the power play.
Yeah, definitely the passing game has been the difference so far. Avonworth just keeps turning the puck over. Look like the Detroit Lions passing game out there, sir.
Let's not go for some old and bad things. And Versucci can't finish the play, so it's going to go up for Goldfein. Goldfein will carry it in, gets around Jackal. Down Goldfein in the near corner. He'll wait, throws it around. Sanzeri looking for Goldfein. 11 seconds remaining in the advantage. And they'll battle in the corner. That penalty will expire. And out comes Zeiss Miller, and Heidkamp will collect it, but it stays in the zone. Goldfein will get the switch, and they'll have a quick switch here. Roulette just gets knocked down by Hagen. Jones behind the net. Lexi Jones will dump it down along the boards, and it'll be kept in by Seifert. They'll battle off, and Noulette loses the puck, and it'll go out of the zone. He'll get it back and up for Seifert. Throws it across. Noulette shoots, and it bounces on a block back behind the net into the near corner. Up for Leffler. Seifert for Tedis. Throwing across for Carrick, and they can't finish the play. We picked up again and cleared out. Volmer. Waits, shoots high and wide. It's going to bounce really weird off this barrel ice complex glass, and Ian Norkovicius will carry it out of the zone. Here he comes. Waits, shot, scores! He goes through Leffler's legs and then beats Coral to the glove side, and it's 2-0.
Yeah, nice up and down the ice there for a little while. The shot that I think the camera angle had the same one you and I did. It looked like it was going to go in, and Lexi Jones got her stick on it. She's proven herself to be one of the best defensemen in Class B this year. Seems like she's been on Carrick's team for 4 or 5 years already.
Yeah.
But she's definitely one of the more solid defensemen in the league. And then Norkovicus gets the puck and just comes straight up the ice and uses a screen in front. And Coral probably reacted a little late, but it was a nice shot that tucked it inside the far post.
Lancey collects it behind. Up for Carrick. Oh, Feldman with an opportunity in front. Just goes past him and goes into the near corner. He'll battle off with Gaddy. Gaddy around for Lancey. He's going to go past him. Norkovicus is just knocked down. Waits for it. Throws on. Opportunity. Shave made. Rebound. Mankiewicz couldn't finish the play. Covered by Coral, and 8:22 remaining in the first period.
A good play by Norkovicus there just to hang with it. He got knocked down and just kind of stayed aggressive and got back to his feet quickly when the puck came near him, put his stick on it and gained control of it, and fired a shot that's actually, by statistics, Coral's first save, and it was a good one.
Heidkamp steps in. Orsiucci lets it go for Goldfein. He'll carry it out of the zone. Goldfein loses it to Heidkamp. He'll wait, throws it across for Christopher. Avonworth will just take it, dump it back in. That was Avery Leffler. And icing is the call. And behind the net, it'll be Rowan's Winter doing basically a sitting snow angel. So we'll bring it all the way back down.
Everyone notices when there's a whistle.
Yep.
Something like that happens during play, no one notices.
See, he falls down and he just does a couple more spins, extra spins he doesn't need to. I have the replay here, just rewatched it. Face off won by, a nice battle for it. It'll be Carrick. Down and carried out by Avonworth. Goldfein waits for it, thinks about it, throws it across for Penrose. Penrose shot, looks for the tip. Almost nice tip by Sanzeri, just wide of the net. Be carried out by Carrick. Christopher will dump it in off of a tip. Penrose behind the net. Braden Penrose, this junior. Very young team, this Avonworth team. Carrick finishing up with their core this year. A lot of seniors for the Cougars. Thrown on by pass for Nacy. He can't finish it. It's going to go back into the corner. And they'll clear it back out for Volmer. Volmer for Nulette. Nulette will let it go, and it'll go out. And they can't finish the play. They'll stay in the neutral zone. Volmer can't finish the play with Nulette, and it'll just bounce around. They'll play Pong in the neutral zone. That hot potato doesn't want to seem to stick to anybody. So Volmer will just dump it back in. Jones will battle along the boards. And it'll go back in. Volmer for Nulette. Cleared in and down. Volmer chases it down. Tedis around for Gaddy. And it'll go up and out of the play. Leffler waits in the corner. Thinks about it, dumps it out, and it's going to go to Gaddy. Gaddy coming the other way. Shot save made by Keedy. 6:03 remaining in the first. 2-0 Carrick.
Avonworth just definitely making better decisions with the puck now. They seem to calm down a little bit. That start for them wasn't ideal, but they know there's still plenty of hockey to be played left. They're starting to make better passes. They're starting to make more simple plays. We saw a couple passes out of the zone early that just went right to Carrick players or right to no one. These passes now are starting to at least try to get to someone, and they were definitely being way more successful, and most of them we had another icing call against Carrick. And that's given Avonworth a little bit of the skill that we want to see as well. They have some speedy wingers. They have some guys that can get the puck and go north-south with it. But that has to start with, in order to show speed, you have to be coming up the ice with the puck. It's hard to show speed once you're in the zone, but coming through the neutral zone, you can show it, and they have a few times lately.
Carrick will try to dump it back out of the zone. Lancey will just throw it right back in. Back down, picked up by Avonworth. They need to get onside before they can do anything. They'll just tip it back in. Feldman will take it back into his own zone. Gets around a defender and has to get around, and he does get around the forward, and here it comes. Bokabacious, and he'll go behind the net, up, back down, throwing across from Manilich, and he'll throw on Coral with the hop save. Feldman and Lancey having a little bit of a sparring contest in front.
Now that we're in the healthy portion of our game here, let's say hello to all of our viewers out there. Thank you for tuning in tonight. We appreciate your support.
Yeah, thank you. Back down, it'll be kept in by Carrick across. This is really the only, one of the big driving reasons for doing it, is at this point is, the players appreciate it, but the fans appreciate it more, especially in this environment right now. You don't know who wants to go out, who doesn't want to go out, and to try to bring hockey back into your homes is something we tried to do here. So
much warmer to watch it at home as well.
Yeah, I know, right? It'd be much warmer to call it at home, but with the technology through 10-band, but I'm not ready to go through that. An opportunity here, score for Christopher. And that'll be Frank Christopher, the sophomore from Carrick, makes it 3-0, just a wide open play in front.
Yeah, that was a big goal right there. We talked about, the game kind of takes shape early. There's usually a couple plays early on that can dictate whether the seesaw tips one way or the other. And it looked like Avonworth had a little bit going, and a 2-1 game for them would have been a nice situation to be in. That was just a shot that got deflected before it got to Coral. He was just out to dry there. He had no hope. It wasn't anything he did wrong. He was square to the first shot, and it went off a skate or a leg and right to the back door.
That's just one thing you see about Carrick, though. You just can't give them those opportunities. You give them the opportunities, they're going to be able to bury them every time.
Right.
They're just a high-scoring,
Carrick being a
high-powered
high-scoring team, and they're allowing them to do it right now. So Avonworth is going to have to buckle down because they don't have the offense to come back from much more than what we've got so far.
Conley gets lit up by Sanzeri at the top of the circles.
That's going to be a penalty.
Yes, it is. And there goes the arm.
So these are the new rules that we've got in place this year. There was no attempt to play the puck there. That's what they're trying to get rid of from the game, as a player coming. What used to be when I grew up playing across the railroad tracks was a kind of a free game player. That's a player you look to hit, and now you can't hit that player. You got to make a play on the puck there. And Sanzeri just came across, and that's all he had in mind was just to take that player and take that player's body. Now, it wasn't a dirty hit by any means, so don't get me wrong on that one. It's just simply a penalty, the way the game is being called now.
And they'll talk to Steve Guest here. Sanzeri had a little bit of a conversation as the captain. He can argue that a little bit and see exactly what the referee was calling, and they'll both talk about it and walk away. Oh, Schultz will go back. And Guest will go back to the bench.
Yeah, just a little explanation there. I think that's an easy explanation as a coach or from a ref to a coach that, hey, you got to make an attempt to play the puck there. You just can't steamroll people anymore. That's, there's debate on whether that's good or bad for the sport, but this is varsity Class B hockey. That's ideally, those rules affect this level directly and benefit this level directly.
Throw it in front. It's going to be picked up by Heidkamp. Throws down. Orpheus will throw it behind the net. Heidkamp circling up to the top, throws it across anyway. It's going to be picked up by Feldman. Feldman looks for the pass, and it's going to go clear out of the zone. Heidkamp will have to collect it. 2 white shirts on him. It's going to get around. He guides Norkvicius into the zone. Shot off of Coral's body. It's going to go off for Nacy. Nacy carrying it out. Back behind, Nacy waits, throws it in front, and it's going to go nets off. Yep, they call it a penalty. It's a trip coming up.
Let me just clarify that, just to be clear on the level. The beautiful thing about hockey is we can play it all of our lives. Sometimes they take checking out of it when you get older. A lot of times they take checking out of it. But most players at this levels aren't going to the NHL. They're not going to the USHL. They're not going very far at all. The idea here is that we can play hockey and enjoy hockey and not have to worry about injuries all the time. More specifically to Class B, unlike some of your AAA levels and even into your AA, those levels are loaded with juniors and seniors that are about the same age and the same size as each other, whereas Class B you have, as you mentioned, one team has a lot of young players, the other team has a lot more experience, so size makes a big difference at this level. Age makes a big difference at this level. And skill, as we just saw, makes a big difference at this level. That puck was shot right off the faceoff. That looked like a set play for Carrick to run up the ice. And I believe it was Norkvicius just went forehand, backhand, and forehand 5-hole to give them a 4-0 lead with 3:20 to go in the first period. And
they're going to change Coral out. And here comes John Seifert.
John Seifert.
John Seifert's going to go in the senior.
Let's close the book on Coral before we get playing here. It was 4 goals on 8 shots, which doesn't sound very great. But again, I think one of them was a tip. That one was a breakaway. They just didn't give him a chance to get really settled into the game. And the smart move, that doesn't mean your goalie's playing poorly when you make a goalie change this early. It certainly means your team needs to wake up and play. So I think it was a combination of Hayes that only made 50% of his saves so far, but more so our team's not playing well in front of him.
Yeah, he really didn't have too many opportunities to be able to succeed on that one. So Gaddy will collect it. He gets a stick. Norkvicius can't get out. There's a penalty coming up.
That'll be a hook on Feldman. He had, not intentional, but he got the hook underneath the arm of the Avonworth defenseman, I believe was Gaddy. Gaddy tried to skate up the ice, and all you could see was the hook pulling his arm back, so makes it an easy call. Norkvicius will go to the box, 2 minutes for hooking.
So we're going to go 4-on-3.
Just to discuss penalties further, so this is one thing that's being lost in the game is that penalties, just like in basketball there are fouls, that doesn't mean you meant to slap the kid on the wrist when you took a shot. In hockey, there are penalties that are just, that happens. There's nothing wrong with that play right there. He wasn't trying to hook him, but that's what I would categorize as a foul in basketball. It was something that's happened naturally in the play, but that's 2 minutes for hooking because he pulled the player down.
And in 23 seconds, it'll be a 5-on-3. So Nacy will just try to dump it in front of him, picked up by Carrick and blocked, and then cleared back out all the way down. 14 seconds to go on the first penalty, and we'll have a 5-on-3 coming up. Nacy carrying it into the zone, across the blue, waits. 3 seconds to go, and they get Sanzeri back. Nacy, 5-on-3, waits, shoots, just misses wide. Just gonna go sit in the front. Another weird bounce here at Barrel.
Yeah, he tried to go corner there. No, it's 5-on-3. You shouldn't be trying to pick corners. That's a situation down by 4. You should be hitting the net. But they almost got a weird bounce back in front. They ended up coming to Carrick, and they cleared the zone.
Zeri will carry it back in. Waits, throws it behind the net for Nacy. They'll try to set up the power play. It's 26 to go at the first penalty. Zeri throws it on, looks for the rebound opportunity. Big save by Keedy, and they'll blow the whistle a little bit early. The puck was free, but the referee lost sight of it. 1:46 remaining in the first period.
Well, by the scoreboard, this has been all Carrick so far. If Avonworth has any hope or prayer to come back in this hockey game, the 18 seconds left on the 5-on-3, then the remaining time of total 51 seconds on the second penalty. Is there opportunity to get a dent in this hockey game?
Face off one. Rounds Winter. Shot through everything. McIntyre waits. Throws it behind. McIntyre waits. Battles off with Feldman. Feldman will get around. McIntyre 2 seconds ago on the power play. Shot on. Blocked in front. Jones will tie down McIntyre. And down for Roundswinter, and it'll be score! He'll get that through, and it'll be a power play goal for Roundswinter. 1:19 remaining here in the first period.
Yeah, that's more what you want to look for on a power play. A couple shots that had decent opportunities, and then Roundswinter got the puck and came across the top of the zone, more across the top of the circles. It looked like he was going to try to fire it hard and wide to the far side, and it went in on that side. Just wasn't hard because it went off a stick on the way. And I think the Carrick players all turned looking for the puck to go off the inboards, and it actually hit the back of the net.
Yes, it did. And there's still a little look of confusion on the Carrick players. It just seems weird. Up by 3, and the way they look right now, the body language that's showing. But they turn it on at any given time. So Schmidt taking it along the boards, has Conley able to keep it onside. Schmidt waits. Behind, and it's going to go in front. Opportunity save made by Seifert.
Good save by Seifert there, and that's an important with a minute 3 left to go in the period. Your team finally got on the board. As I said, they needed to make
Leffler's off to the penalty box. I don't know if it's a penalty or if it's a he's
injury.
Getting checked. He's getting checked for an injury. Okay, I didn't think that there was a penalty on the play. Face off one, and 1 minute to go here. Roundswinter will clear it out of the zone, but it'll be picked up by Carrick coming the other way. Conley doesn't get enough on the shot. Lancey will battle him behind the net. Conley battle off a little help from another member, and a big hit coming out by a member of that was McIntyre with a big hit behind the net. Comes out, Hagen will dump it down, and behind the net, Lancey will chase it down. Bounce it around for Volberg, goes out to Norvikis. He'll wait, throws it behind the net. In front, out for Legatti. Back out of the zone for Wright. Jones will just dump it in and be picked up by Avonworth, carrying it into the zone. McIntyre looking up front, opportunity for Lancey. Vollmer across, McIntyre just bounces around. Goes back in the corner, that's the end of the first period. 4-1 is your score. Carrick leads the Avonworth Antelope 4-1.
We'll recap the scoring here from the first period. It was all Carrick for the first half of the period. The 5-on-3 certainly swung it a little bit in Avonworth's direction, but they're still down 4-1. Shots end up 9-9. At one point they were 8-4. The start of that power play certainly again, balanced the game out a little bit. We started off with Aiden Ferrucci, an even strength goal from Tanner Heidkamp, and Frank Christopher. That was at 3:20 into the period. About 5 minutes later, 8:08 into the period, Ian Norkovicus on a breakaway scored to make it 2-0 Carrick. And then Frank Christopher, man with 2 first names.
Yeah, I know, right?
Scored to get his second point of the night. Aiden Ferrucci and Tyler Heidkamp also added their second point of the night as assists on there to make it 3-0. 13:40 into the period, Ian Norkovicus with his second of the night from Aiden Eidenbrode, and that made it 4-0, and it was all Carrick at that point, but a couple penalties late against Carrick put Avonworth on a 5-on-3 advantage. They scored, I believe, during the 5-on-4 portion of that to make it 4-1. It was Mark Rowlands' unassisted. And again, shots were 9-9 in that period. Coral, who started the game for Avonworth, did not finish the period. He played through the first 8 shots against, allowed 4 goals, and then he was replaced by John Seaforth. Logan Keaty stopped 8 of 9 that he faced during the period.
And that's the recap from the first period. Thank you. This is why we like to have Dave Pryor on whenever he could show up. We appreciate that recap. We'll talk about a little bit more in the second intermission, but we'll get a face-off here to start the second period. Feldman will win it back for Eigenbrode. He'll have to chase it back into his own zone behind Keaty. We'll wait for it. They'll go around, and it'll be picked up by Mankulich, and he'll get it up for Norkovicus, and he'll battle around, and he'll go behind anyway. It'll be Penrose separating the puck from him. Penrose battles along the boards, and he'll have Feldman there, and they'll throw it in opportunity there by Mankulich, and he'll dump it down the ice to Wright. Wright will take it, dump it back in. Gaddy will have to chase it in, but it's going to be picked up by Wright. Wright dumps it up for Mankulich. And it goes out for Feldman. Feldman waits, shot just wide of the net. Feldman waits, throws it in front, and throw it up for Wright. Wright throws it behind the net. Penrose for Feldman. Across it goes and down the ice. Picked up by Keaty. Eigenbrode will just dump it in. It'll be offside. 15:33 remaining in the second period.
The game has kind of slowed to a little bit of a crawl here.
Yeah.
It's that advantage Carrick, because Carrick has the ability to strike at any point and pick up their pace. So if I'm Avonworth, I'm looking at this opportunity from the bench and saying, hey guys, the game kind of slowed down here. Let's set the pace. Let's pick up our feet, start moving a little bit, and dictate the play.
That's behind. Jones is going to try to keep it in, but she's going to come out of the zone. Jackal will take it. Max Jackal will just dump it back in and across. And Carrick will just try to get it back in the zone. Picked up by Sanzeri. He'll carry it in. Sanzeri's shot blocked by Max Jackal. The captain will throw it back out. Volmer lets it go, and it goes clear out of the zone. Back to Sanzeri. Roudswinter. For Dacey Roudswinter looking for his second. Oh, what a sneaky shot. Couldn't finish off the play. Good save by Keaty. They'll battle off. It goes back up to the point. Nacy throws it on. It's going to go across and clear down for Christopher. Christopher in the zone, battles off with Roudswinter. And Volmer takes it in. They'll battle off, dumps it back down. Eigenbrode. For Wright McIntyre. Ferrucci with the puck. Loses the puck on a nice play by Seiferth. Jake Seiferth. Goldfane can't get to it. It's going to get cleared down the length of the ice. And icing is the call, 13:40 remaining in a second.
Again, a little bit of a crawl here. The Carrick seems to be the more talented team. They're able to control the play when the game is at the pace that it's at right now. If I'm Avonworth, I need to maybe just regroup a little bit, take a deep breath. You know, you got the goal late in the period. That probably gave them a little bit of spark, and the period probably ended at the wrong time for them at that point because they've come out this period kind of back on the heels again.
He's going to go back over for Seifert. He'll wait, dumps it down, and to Goldfane, who will carry it out of play. Goldfane to the circles. Battles around a couple defenders. He's able to get the pass around for Seifert. Nice little play. He gets back up. Looks for McIntyre in front. Big opportunity. Can't finish it. Tedis bounces it off a defender's leg and out of the zone. Cleared down for Avonworth. McIntyre collects it. Carries it in. McIntyre waits around. Right. Throws it off. And Eidenbrod, Connolly, out for Hagen.
Good shift there by Avonworth. That's what they needed.
Hagen carries it in, dumps behind and off of the stick of Seifert. To Jake Seifert, who'll pass it up. And Jones will collect it. She just throws a shot that goes off a couple defenders in the corner. And finish it. It's going to go all the way down for Max Jackal. He has Newlett all over him. And picked up nicely by Lancian on Leffler with a shot and a save made by Keedy. Avery Leffler with a quick shot to try to get one on net at least for the Antelope.
The Antelope, that's a good shift. I said during the play there, that was a little bit of a aggressive, tenacious kind of shift where they went after the puck and found it as much as they could and tried to make a play with it every time they had it instead of just throwing it somewhere.
Vollmer clears it in. You got to think, you know, the opportunities, the way that the, I believe if it's same as historically set, the playoff seedings look, there's a chance you might see Carrick in the first or second round of the postseason. So they play cross seeds again this year. There's a possibility of that. So you're going to want to get to know how you play them and how they play you. So everything's a learning opportunity as the season progresses. So something to pay attention to see how they adjust and see what works and what doesn't work. Norkovikis will carry it into the zone. And it'll go wide of the net. Jackal loses the puck, an opportunity for Leffler the other way. Avery Leffler tries to get it through Jones. She blocks it, and Norkovikis will just try to clear it out, and it goes to Nacy. And we have delayed offside, so it's going to go back behind. It'll be Jackal who gets down the ice with a penalty coming up against Avonworth.
It's going to go against Nacy. There was a pass off the sideboards towards, I believe it was Norkovikis, trying to corral that in, and Nacy just reached out and slashed him on the stick and knocked the stick out of his hands, causing him to miss the pass. That's just pretty much a black and white that's developed into the game over the last few years of just that slashing.
Yep. 11:17 remaining in the second. It'll be a power play to the Carrick Cougars up 4-1. Shots are 12-11 in favor of Carrick, so it's not like Avonworth's not getting the opportunities.
Right, it's been a pretty even game since that goal that made it 4-1.
Right. Shot from the slot. Save made. Seifert. Back out for right. They wait for it. Heidkamp. Save made. Rebound. Bounces around. Good block. Opportunity. Scores. That's going to be Heidkamp from the far post on a rebound. They did everything they could. They blocked the shot from going in, but it went right back to Heidkamp, and he was able to send it home. Yeah. 5-1.
Avonworth fell out of position pretty quickly there. They were kind of shifted their penalty kill more towards our side of the ice, and Heidkamp was wide open on the backside. He had to stick up in there like he wanted to one-time it, and I thought that would have been the right play for him. And he got it and threw it at the net. I'm not sure what it hit, but it came flying back out again like I thought it was going to go in, actually, on the first try. And I think Seifert thought the same thing, and he had his back turned looking for a loose puck that had gone back out to the circle to Heidkamp, who fired it in top shelf. Power play goal.
Heidkamp's going to carry it back in, but Cinzeri will just try to chip it back out, kept in by Wright. Heidkamp throws it across. Ferrucci with an opportunity up for looking for Eigenbrod at the point. Nope, he's going to keep it down low. Christopher. It'll be Heidkamp on the half wall. He waits, throws a shot that goes out of play on a deflection. So we'll have a face-off down to the left of John Seifert, the senior for Avonworth.
So again, the short window of opportunity for Avonworth. They talked about the one good shift they had, but the way you get goals in hockey anymore is it's not one shift. It's usually 3 or 4 or 5 in a row that you've got to have a couple good momentum-changing shifts, and they got one, and we're not able to convert on that one, so they needed to back it up with another good shift, and weren't able to do so, and now they're losing 5-1.
Norkovicus with an opportunity on face-off.
Very good save there. That was a quick shot that Seifert didn't need to be ready for because his team had the puck about a half a second before that, and all of a sudden it's on the stick of Norkovicus coming at him, and he made a nice save.
Feldman will let the puck go out. Oh, keep it in the zone. Nice play by Carrick. Shot by Feldman is going to go down to Jones. Jones will find it on the corner. There's a stick going all the way to the roof here, and we have a penalty coming up.
Another one that's maybe a little less automatic because when you slash down on the stick, slashing makes an easy call. When you lift a stick, sometimes it's kind of based on the scenario there, but in this case, that stick went flying pretty far. Lancey's going to go to the box.
They're calling a high stick there. With 10:03 remaining in the second. Power play coming up to Carrick, up 5-1.
You can call anything you want there. It's a penalty regardless. 2 minutes goes on the board.
Yep, absolutely. Feldman steps in with McIntyre. Norkovicus back to Heidkamp. Across from McIntyre, opportunity for Avonworth to dump it down, and McIntyre will put a little pressure on Norkovicus. Go behind the net. And they'll bring it across. Go packs Roundswinter. Vollmer throws it around, and Jones will have to race to get it in front of her bench. Shot on, save made by Seifert.
The Carrick power play, you can see why their offense is so good. First of all, they just have a lot of talented players, but this is not a team you want to put on the power play because across the top of the umbrella, they have Heidkamp on the left wing side, Norkovicus running the point, and Feldman on the right-hand side, and those are 3 of the top players in this classification.
Heidkamp back down for Norkovicus. Waits, shot wide of the net. Eidenbrod down in the corner. Throws it up. Norkovicus waits. Shot, save made by Seifert. Gets lost in the slot. Back out for Norkovicus. Heidkamp. Cross for Eidenbrod. And looks like another penalty coming up against Avonworth. Norkovicus circles off. Jones will throw it on net, held by Seifert. Penalty coming up for a hold. And it's going to be against Tedis.
Yeah, there's a pretty good battle going in front there. And again, part of the game now is that you can't check people so hard, but they're battling with their body. That's still very legal. They're looking for body position in front. As long as you're using your size and your strength to maintain your position, you're good. And then Avonworth just took it a little bit too far there and hung on for dear life, and they get called for holding. So again, we take the potent Carrick power play, we give them even bigger advantage. And just to cap that off by the stats this year, not counting tonight, the 3 players I mentioned have 32 goals on the season, and I think the goals tonight add them up to about 35 on the season. So not a team you want to put on the power play.
Heidkamp across for Norkovicus. Back for Heidkamp. They'll play catch, shot wide of the net.
Running a different look this time. They have Norkovicus and Heidkamp across the top. Heidkamp moved to the right side. I'm not sure if that was just the way the puck moved on them or they just tried a new formation here. Looks like there's something they're doing intentionally.
Heidkamp walks in untested. Back out to the point. He'll skate up. He'll take the left side for Norkovicus. Waits for it. Shot, save made. Eidenbrod was on the far point. It's like they just flipped their power play to the opposite wings to see how it plays out. Heidkamp to the left.
Yeah, the difference, they put Feldman in front of the net on this one instead of running the umbrella.
Shot, rebound, save made, scores. And Vollmer is going to take a bad penalty. He just came out swinging and on Feldman.
Yeah, that was post-goal that that scrum happened. It wasn't something to do with the play. They were battling in front once again. That's just part of the power play. As I said, Feldman switched from being the right side of the umbrella to the guy in front of the net. And I believe that was the guy that Wilbur went after the puck had already crossed the goal line and the whistle blew. So we went from a game that was somewhat teetering in the balance to 4-1 with Avonworth scoring the goal to make it 4-1. And then we've now taken only halfway through the period, and we're already at 6-1. And another 5-on-3. Penalty cleared there. That should be a 5-on-3 still, I believe, coming up for Avonworth with a chance to go up by 6.
And they were discussing this one, see what they called.
So it's just 2 minutes on the board. If I'm Avonworth, I'm okay with that. Despite some of the disputes coming from our left, that was definitely something that could have been more than 4 minutes worth of penalties. Not by any means a fight or a game misconduct, but something that, as I tell players all the time on the ice, that, hey, sometimes you earn your 2 minutes, and that's definitely more than a 2-minute penalty, but 2 minutes is what you'll take. So the penalty must have just expired to clear there. I didn't catch that. There was still penalty time on the board, but I believe one penalty that was up there was cleared by the goal. So we'll go 5-on-4. And in a game that was 11-11 in shots, I believe at one point, is now 25-11 in favor of Carrick. So Avonworth is definitely on their heels at this point and need a big penalty kill here.
Nacy battle around, and it'll come back in. Norkovicus will just let it go down for Nacy. Dump it along. Leffler waits, throws it out to Wright, who keeps it in nicely. And if we pick the other way, Nacy with an opportunity, but it's going to be offside. Whistle is blown, and 7:19 remaining in the second.
So the penalty there was 2-10 for head contact. So I take it back that sometimes you get your 2 minutes worth, but he's got 12 minutes worth. So that's the right call. Again, it wasn't something to throw a player out. There was nothing suspension worthy there, but 2-10 for head contact is certainly the right call because he went right to the head of Feldman after the whistle had blown.
Rounds Winter will battle along towards Conley. Leffler will be in with Hagen on that one. They got 4 players tying up along the board. 7:06 remaining in the period. $1:07 remaining in the power play for Carrick. The first minor, of course. It'll go down into the corner. Avonworth will just dump it down the ice. And Keedy will leave it for Wright. Alex Wright will carry it in, one of the seniors on this Carrick squad. Conley. Throw on. Wright will throw it across. Hagen. Down, cross. Wright. Shot, save made. Hagen. They'll let it go. Picked up. Then cleared by Gaddy. Rounds Winter with Norkovicus. Along the boards will be carried in. They'll battle along. It'll go out. Wright will chase it back into the zone. It'll be cleared down for Conley, or Heinkamp. Heinkamp will carry it in and out of play. 6:03 remaining in the second. 9 seconds to go on the power play.
So this is the third different look we've seen from Carrick. We talked about early on Norkovicus, Feldman, and Heidkamp running across the top of the zone in an umbrella. And then the next look we saw had Heidkamp on the right side with Norkovicus on the left side and Feldman in front of the net. That time, Feldman and Heidkamp were both down low, closer to the bottom of the circle, and Norkovicus was up top. So Carrick throwing a bunch of different schemes on the ice for their power plays here, and it's been effective. They've certainly taken advantage and gained momentum from the slew of penalties and 2 power plays they've had lately.
Lexi Jones will just dump it behind the net. Lancey get it with Heidkamp. Heidkamp will battle along. Shot on by Jackal. It's going to bounce in front. Opportunity, and Cypher will hold on to it. Lancey and Feldman will go at it again. Feldman throws a hook at him while he's down, but they'll separate them.
I believe it's Lancey, you said, for Avonworth. Had his arm around his neck, and Feldman's laying on top of him, and it's one of those situations where neither player can move without the other looking like you're taking a penalty. So they get up easy. That's no need to make a call there. That was just a collision that happened, and they kind of let up when the play ended, and as they started to move, it looked a little bit dirty, but it wasn't.
Jones shot, save made. Cypher. Rebound. Norkovicus scores, and it's 7-1.
It's a little bit of caught watching him. Cypher's clearly a little bit frustrated here because he made a couple of nice saves there. And the last of those, he didn't control quite well, but he had a bunch of spectators in front of him. I think that's where his frustration comes from, is he's been playing well. He's seen a lot of shots. Again, he came in. That's his there's 29 shots in the game, so it's his 21st shot he's seen in just over a period of play. And he's doing a good job of trying to keep his team in there, but his team just kind of lulling to sleep in front of him on defensive zone there.
Casey and Feldman tie up on the face-off. It'll be cleared in for Cinzeri. Cinzeri on the half wall, shot on, blocked, and it's going to be carried out by Feldman. Feldman carrying it through the neutral zone, across the blue, in, battled off nicely. It's picked up. And Kulich can't handle it. It's going to be carried out of the zone, and Nacy can't get through the defense. High stick on the puck. Goldfein will eat something for that one. And Dulich can't get it out, and it'll be Norkovikis stumping it in to the near corner. Tedis for Leffler. Leffler for Goldfein, and no for Norkovikis. He'll throw it across, and it'll be carried out. Cinzeri will battle for that one. Jackal will maintain possession. Be carried, and he'll eat play for that one. Norkovikis all alone walking in. Shot just missed the top corner. It's going to go down. Seiferth will just let it go, and it's going to go out of the zone, and here comes Avonworth the other way. Across from McIntyre. Ferrucci gets it over to Wright. Wright carrying it across red. In across the blue. Alex Wright waits. Goes behind the net. Goes to the forehand, and we got a penalty coming up.
It might just be in the crease. Everyone's stopping and looking. Yeah, it's just an in the crease call.
Oh, in the crease, okay.
Yeah, Wright circled behind the net. It looked like he was going to center it. And I think two Carrick players, Heidkamp being one of them, went to the net. And then when they got bumped further in there, we're still looking for the puck, and they were in the crease, and the puck was still in the corner. And we'll just take the face-off outside.
4:10 remaining in the second. Carrick will win it and just dump it back into the zone. 4:04 to go here. Christopher waits on the backhand, throws it across, nobody home. Ferrucci, nice save by Seiferth. Ferrucci. And out of the zone, and here comes Avonworth with a 2-on-1. Waits for it, Seiferth can't, oh, nice opportunity on the pass. Backhand score! That was Rowenswinter, and it is 7-2.
Rowenswinter with the second of the night. That was, again, just hanging with the puck. He tried to make a saucer pass over the sliding defender, which was probably a little too fancy for the situation. Recognized that his pass didn't make it through and just stayed on the puck. Found it when he came from below the goal line. I believe the goalie, Keedy, thought he was going to pass it to a teammate coming on the far side. And he went backhand top shelved on the near side, and Keedy wasn't really sure where the puck went because it was such a quick release.
Goal at 3:37 of the second period. Jackal will battle a long opportunity here. Here we go again. Oh, Noulette, save made. Rebound goes around. Gaddy can't get to it. Cleared up and behind by Schmidt. Heidkamp is battled by Noulette. They'll get a little bit of help in, and Noulette goes up high and takes a penalty.
They'll go two for cross-checking there, but you said it came up high there. Now the players are coming together after the whistle blew. A little bit of frustration, I think, from Avonworth, even though they just scored it. Another opportunity right after it to get a pretty good look at the net. And Keedy came out and challenged the shot and made the save actually on the second chance, too. So I think Avonworth recognizes their goals are going to be a little bit few and far between tonight, and they're trying to get an edge physically to help their cause here. But, again, putting Carrick on the power play isn't going to help that cause at all.
Steve Guess is talking to one of the officials here about what's going on. He's going to talk to them about it. Seemed like they came to a amicable agreement on the bench. And
yeah, there was clearly a penalty there.
Yes. Lancey, Feldman steps in. Back across. Norkovikis back down. Tip opportunity by Edinburgh. He can't finish it. 3 to go here in the second period. We're up by Carrick up by 5. Norkovikis will carry it back into his zone. Back behind Leffler. Round for Feldman. Just goes out. Lexi Jones will chase it down. Sinceri will be able to collect it. Gets the slot. And a penalty coming up against Carrick. And Eidenbrode lights up, and we've got an issue in the corner, and it's starting to break down here at Barrel Ice Complex. Eidenbrode's going to head off. He's not very happy about it.
Yeah, so the first one was a good standard. They called the cross-check over and then near side in front of us, and it came back, and there was no need for a stick or an elbow or anything to go up near the head of the attacking Avonworth players, Cesare, and the arm went up right away on the official. It was the ensuing thing that was more of the problem there. The first one was a penalty. The second one was just a little bit of completely unnecessary, I guess is the way to put it.
And he's taking a 10, yeah.
They'll go 2 and 10 for head contact, I believe, on the second call there.
That's Heidkamp in there.
Heidkamp, I believe, was the original cross-check to the
second one.
Neck area. Eidenbrode was the one who came in and caught Sincere in a situation where that's just completely unnecessary. So Heidkamp has a penalty on the board. And Eidenbrode also now has his penalty on the board. So I believe it was 2 for cross-checking and then to Heidkamp, and then a 2 and a 10 for head contact to Eidenbrode.
2:31 to go here in the second period. Timeout. Carrick. They're going to think about it in the defensive zone with 2:31 remaining.
Yeah, 2:31 remaining. There's 4 minutes, a pair of minor penalties on the board on the Carrick side, but there's still a minute 22 left on the Lancey penalty. So we'll go 4 on 3 with plenty of ice to look at here.
It's not even a terrible idea to take a timeout here, trying to at least diffuse some of the fumes in here too.
Correct.
So that would be it's a good call to be able to.
If you're Avonworth, you probably don't want the timeout here because you want to take advantage of whatever players are on the ice for Carrick being tired. If you're Carrick, you're not so worried about being tired. You're carrying that you're up 7-2 and you're getting a little bit edgy in a situation where you don't need to get edgy. So that timeout is not going to be needed by Carrick later on. And if it is, it's because they didn't call it now and allowed the team to come back in the game. So call
absolutely.
it now, and just that's all you're talking about. This isn't a strategy timeout whatsoever. This is a, hey, guys, we're up 7-2. What are we doing? You know, they're giving us power plays. We have no reason to give them any reason to come back in this hockey game.
Yeah, absolutely. And you realize you get one here. It's now a 4-goal game, and just like you get one at the end of the period, you know, who knows what happens in the third period. So Avonworth shown that they can put them in they can put pucks in the net. It's just a matter of putting it together now, and you don't need that little catalyst.
Yeah, at the same time, I mean, if you're Avonworth, you want to use this, even though it wasn't your timeout, you want to use this timeout and say, hey, guys, we've given them some power plays. Here's our chance to chip back away at it. You know, they got to get through the 4-on-3 portion here first, and then get their full power play unit out there. So they have a little bit of strategy on their side to decide how they're going to attack this 4-on-3, and then it will turn into a 5-on-3. So do you put your top unit out? You know, even if I'm Avonworth, honestly, I'm thinking of a possibility of calling a timeout halfway through this and keeping my top unit out there for both portions of the power play.
Well, absolutely, and it's basically, as even if you think about it from the point of view, this is an additional power play for Avonworth, even though they didn't call it. This is something they could have used, and that's exactly right. And they have another one in their pocket now. So, nice keep in by the Antelope. Back out to the point, Leffler with the slot. Cross for Nacy. There's Feldman on him. Leffler gives it to Nacy. Nacy will shoot. Blocked in front by Jones. Leffler down low. Yep, 2 and 10 for Eidenbrode. And Heidkamp will get an elbowing minor. Feldman will battle off, and it'll be picked up by Goldfein. And Feldman's going to battle off and hold, and it's going to go up and up, out of the zone. And 1:47 remaining here.
That puck went off TD and landed on top of the net and rolled off the top of the net. So that was a very close play. We were kind of all paying attention to what was going on in the corner, and Avonworth was scored during that.
Sinceri waits. Shot off the side. McIntyre behind. Sinceri will collect. Throws it across. Nobody home. Nacy was coming down. McIntyre was crossing him. McIntyre to the top of the slot, waits, looks for it, gets it back, another shot. Not many opportunities you get that end up like that when all the bounces go your way. McIntyre, once again, throws it across, but it's going to be picked up by Norkabikis, and it's going to go
into the 5-on-3 here now.
And they're 32 seconds on a 5-on-3 for Avonworth. Need to get it in the zone and get an opportunity on net. Nacy waits for it. Shot will be blocked and kept out. Feldman will take it and dumped down the ice, and 16 to go on a 5-on-3. Leffler, one last rush if they can get it, and it's going to go clear down the ice, and that is an icing on a 5-on-3.
So for all intents and purposes, that kills off the remainder of the power play because we'll start back in the team's end with the power play. 2 good looks for Avonworth during that power play, but the difference, as I talked about some of the alignments that I saw out of Carrick, Feldman I mentioned being in front of the net on one of them. Eidenbrod was in front of the net for part of one of their power plays as well. I didn't see anyone in front of the net for Avonworth. So they're looking to get shots through, but all the bodies in front aren't their players, so Keaty's seeing the puck quite well.
Shot save made by Keaty.
For example, that's a good save, but Keaty's going to make that save when he sees that puck that clearly. Not that not that Avonworth had a chance to get set up with someone in front of the net on that play, but overall as a power play, that's something you look for. Is you need to be able to put bodies in front of the net at the right moments. That wasn't a moment you were able to get someone there, but that first save by Keaty is going to be a save he makes way more often than not.
McIntyre will step in with Heidkamp, who's back out of the box. The 5-on-3 is over. They're talking about something.
A few extra seconds ticked off the clock here. I believe they're going to hold the clock or reset the clock. Ideally, you want them to reset the clock to 28 point something or 29 point something, but they may just hold it if that's the situation they're explaining over there.
That would also put...
Okay, so I believe that's what they're doing, that the time that ran off the clock was also part of the end of the power play. So Heidkamp and whoever was serving the Eidenbrod penalty need to go back in. Yeah, there were several seconds that ticked off there. And the power plays fell off the board when that happened, so they'll put those players back in the box. And all for naught because they come right back out again with the face-off win by Carrick.
Rounds Winter, take it to the slot. Opportunity here. Save made. Rebound. Bounces it off. 17 to go. It's going to go over. Seifert comes in around. He gets taken down, but it just looked like an innocent play there. Heidkamp will carry it in. Across. He's going to get torn down. No penalty on that side. No, maybe there is on the trailing. Nope.
Nope, we're good. I'll explain the first one. You cannot get tripping by initiating contact with someone's stick.
Correct.
And that is what happened there. Actually, Carrick player even let go of his stick because he knew that he had nothing to do with that player getting pulled down. Coming down the other direction, even though it's not a penalty at that end. Coming to our right, yeah, maybe you can call that, but there's no reason to make that call there when you allowed something at the other end to be a little bit questionable. So more so with 2.7 seconds left in the period.
And that'll do it. End of the second. It is 7-2 Carrick. We'll be back with the second intermission report. I'm Brian Mitchell. That's Dave Fryer. We'll be back. All right, we're back here at the Barrel Ice Complex. Carrick leading Avonworth 7-2 here. Dave Fryer with me. Dave, this is what we look like. That's how I bring them all in. Dave.
We definitely have faces for radio,
Oh,
sir.
yeah, definitely. This is my radio segment. I should just rename this radio.
Right.
But, no, we're back here at the Barrel Ice Complex, and Carrick leading Avonworth 7-2. I'm not surprised by the score or the outcome right now. I'm surprised how we got here. Avonworth looking like they were in it early in this game and really sticking it to Carrick early, but the ultimate opportunists that are the Carrick Cougars at this point, just jumping over on everything that's available and even giving a little bit back to Avonworth to try to get back in the game, but the Antelope unable to get back into this one.
Yeah, I would say that's to summarize what you said and summarize what we've seen in the game is that Carrick has created a lot more opportunities over a longer period of time. Avonworth had a couple quick strike opportunities where, they had a power play here at the end of the period. It could have been something, as I talked about at the beginning of the second, the game kind of crawled to a lull, and they got one good shift. They needed to sustain something there. But Carrick has taken advantage of, one, just having a lot of skill, but two, having their power play on the ice with that skill has been a big difference in the hockey game for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And you noticed that it started to break down a little bit there at the end of the second. Frustrations were going, but it seemed like the frustrations were a little more on the Carrick side.
Right.
And it just seems a little weird when you're up 7-2 that you're going to let that define your game. At that point, you're 7-2. You should just be cruising and be like, I'm lucky just to get through the next period and let's just get out of here. But
yeah,
you
a little
play
bit of impose your will on the other team. You don't just want to beat them on the scoreboard. You want to beat them thoroughly, as you talked about. There's a possibility in the playoffs of seeing a team again.
Yep.
So I know it's pretty early as a team that's trying to make their way through the standings, as we talked about earlier, to be worrying about that. But that is something that you're trying to identify yourself.
Right.
Team identity is a big thing, as I talked about. The standings aren't. The standings are a result of something, and the standings at this point are a result of how you played and what kind of identity you formed over the first month and a half or 2 months of the season, which is where we're at right now. So by that point in time, you should have an identity. So is Carrick going to just be known as a finesse powerhouse team, or are they going to be known as a team you've got to beat their goalie, who's played very well tonight in Keedy? You've got to beat them by not taking penalties, and because their power play is just that potent, and you got to beat them because they're going to be strong physically on you too. So that's a pretty good identity for a team that is definitely a contender in Class B.
And the way that they're imposing their will is there's another level to it. This is a team mental aspect of it. You beat a team down, but they don't quit. That team, you're continuing to beat somebody down. You're not quitting. It's like one of those things where we're going to keep coming at you no matter what the score. I mean, there are a lot of coaches and a lot of players that just play through, and they don't.
Sure.
It's you got an opportunity to play, you're going to take it, and that you're going to continue to just play hard until the end. I mean, I've been on a lot of sides with my teams that I've been on the wrong side of the scores a lot more often, and I appreciated that because teams didn't give up at the end because you actually were able to work things through as you were getting to figure out if you can do it at that point. So,
that's true. There's I say that all the time. We've all been on both sides of that, and you got to remember being on the other side when you're on the good side. That you don't want some team to just kind of rub it in your face, more or less. In this case, I think that maybe part of the factor, too, is that Carrick recognizes that there's a little bit of a gentleman's agreement when there's a running clock in the third period that you probably should let off the gas. If you're going to spend anything, spend it now before we get to the third period, before we get to a running clock. So all's fair in love and war on that one. But I would expect the third period to be much more calm because I think that timeout by Carrick was good for their team and good to dictate the tone of this game for the third period.
And Avonworth, it's just one of those things. They look like that they're putting things together, and then it just falls apart. The moment that they get to that point where it's like we're melting, then something just falls through. And it seems like if they get that opportunity to meld in this period, they could probably pop one or two, maybe three more in, and you can make this a game out of this. But
they have some good players, so it's not a matter of not being able to. It's just a matter of the mental portion you talked about. Is that can you maintain some level of intensity for consecutive shifts?
Correct.
Can you we talked about some of the points of this game where they could have pounced. It takes a team effort to do that.
Right.
They don't have. I think Zazanski's a good player. He seems to every time he gets the puck that something's going to happen, but rarely does it because he needs a little bit of help. So he needs a player or two to just kind of pick up the pace with him and start to set the tempo. And I actually rounds winner is the player who I thought has been very solid in this game, has been consistently around the net, consistently around the puck. So, again, that's two players that I can point to that have created something. Not that there's other Avonworth players doing things, but from a team level, you're talking about that meld and that gel that you need to be able to sustain something and play with a level of intensity for 51 minutes of a hockey game that Carrick is able to do. Carrick is clearly more experienced and more talented to be able to do that. But for Avonworth to have a chance in this game, they had to come out a little bit stronger early and sustain that throughout the first period instead of walking out of that period down by 3.
Yeah, and we talk, we're here at Barrel Ice Complex, but there's a world outside, and we're going to talk about the finals and some of the games in the previous other rinks out there.
Big slate of hockey tonight.
Big slate of hockey. South Fayette falling to Franklin Regional at Palmer Imaging Arena. I still will not get over to calling that Center Ice Arena 7-2. Cathedral Prep falling to Baldwin 3-1 at the trackside at Ice Castle. Here you saw Mount Lebanon defeating Seneca Valley 3-1. Neshannock defeating Wilmington 7-0. Meadville over West Allegheny at the Island 7-4. Penn Trafford comes back to beat Shaler 7-4. 5 goals in the third period. A hat trick for Lochner for the Warriors, and they just battle back to beat the Titans. Wheeling Catholic over Chartiers Valley 7-6 in overtime in West Banco Arena.
I believe that's Wheeling Catholic's first win of the season.
Yeah, I would
a nice
assume
one.
so.
If that's their first win of the season, that's a good way to earn it in an overtime game.
Gary Hatfield with the goal at 2:14 of the overtime period. Char Valley had to actually come back in that game to make it an overtime game. Kramer with 2 goals late to be able to
score with 30 seconds left
to tie it. But Hatfield able to get the goal to take the lead on that one. Let's see. Butler over Montour 6-1 so far at Frozen Pond Arena. For Butler, it's been a good drop to AA to be able to get back into this contest and be able to be competitive.
Right.
After so many years of being beat up in AAA. It was
they had a little flash a couple of years ago in AAA. They went to the Penguins Cup championship
Yep.
game. They didn't win it, but they went there a couple of years ago, several years ago now. And that's a program that the realignment's designed around. Butler's a very big school in terms of enrollment, but they're up and down in terms of their hockey program because just the area they're in, and there's various factors that are accounted for, all encompassing in an indirect way in the realignment. And Butler's a team I'm sure they would love to be back in AAA and be competitive there, but in order to do that, they need to get their feet under them, and they're doing that this season.
We have no score from Pittsburgh Ice Arena. Burrell and Ringgold facing off at 8:50. Carrick, of course, you're here watching. Oh, sorry. Thomas Jefferson over Mars 11-1 at Ice Castle. Carrick leading Avonworth, which you are watching right now, 7-2, and North Catholic over North Hills 3-1 up at the Island.
Just went up 3-1. It was 2-1 last.
2-1 last we checked. Now it is 3-1. And let me just make sure nothing changed else on that since we started the recap with a full slate of games. Still 3-1 for that contest. Butler still up 6-1. Those are the only two. They're in progress as well of us, and I don't know about Ringgold or Burrell right now, so we'll see how that plays. But with that being said, we got players coming back on the ice, so we will switch it over from our ugly mugs, and we will get you back to the players on the ice.
They didn't come here to see us. They came to see hockey.
Oh, yeah. They definitely did not come to see us. I saw the numbers drop. But that being said, we'll be back. We'll be back with the second half, and Avonworth out pretty early, looking a little bit chipper out there.
Right, all part of the mental game. That's always something I've stressed with my team is that first step onto the ice, does it come with a little bit of a thump, a push, or does it come with a little bit of like drop your shoulders and drop your head, drop your chin, and come on the ice? And, it's a big hill to climb being down by 5. But that's a good step in the right direction. You're prepared to go. You're coming running out of the locker room. You're all on the ice together, and the other team isn't to be seen yet. So we'll see if that helps. Again, I talked about the intensity needed by Avonworth. Maybe that's something they're working on here by being prepared. I mean, the teams are supposed to be ready when the ice cut's done, so it's not like they're doing something unusual. But they're out here and ready to go, and they need to carry that over into the first 4 or 5 shifts of the period to set a good tone for themselves.
Yes, absolutely. Carrick just now making their way to the ice. 10:31 on the clock. 17 minutes remaining. 17 minutes the time to the finish here. This is Burgh Hockey Live. I am Brian Mitchell. This is Dave Fryer with me. It is Carrick. It is Avonworth. It is 7-2 Cougars over the Antelope. We are 17 minutes from the completion here. We'll see if Avonworth can dig back into this one. I don't know many times in history where an Antelope was able to get into a battle with a Cougar and come out.
We've gone from Burgh Hockey Channel to the History Channel, or the Nature Channel. National Geographic is probably what we're watching now. But yeah, that's kind of the battle here, right? Is not just in terms of the animals and mascots, but a team that's been good for several years in Carrick and an up-and-comer that wants to be part of that mix we talked about in the pregame with Avonworth. And, I mean, if you're Avonworth, you're probably disappointed in the game so far, but you need something in the third period. If I'm in the locker room of Avonworth between periods, I am talking about intensity, as we mentioned on our broadcast here, and I'm talking about this has got to build for something. Whether you win this hockey game or not, it's, again, tough hill to climb, down by 5. But what are you working on for your identity? Are you a team that can sustain, and avoid maybe a running clock, that can maybe work their way back into this? I mean, you hate to talk about trying to avoid a running clock, but when you're down by 5, you want to try to say, hey, we'll try to be down by 3 halfway through this period and see where we can take it from there. And if we don't win this hockey game, at least it builds towards something you can use in your next game or in your next couple weeks worth of games that probably will start to sort out those standings. So I think you're looking up who they have coming up here. And I'm sure there's games that are going to be a lot closer than this one in terms of what the matchup is expected to be. And those little things you do in games like this can make a difference in those contests.
The only other marker on their record is Bishop Cannabin in our opening game here with Burgh Hockey Live whenever we were covering them here. They might not invite me back at this point, but they have Morgantown, Trinity, and Elizabeth Ford coming up in December. Another game and a game with Ringgold, so it's not going to get easier.
Yeah, so they have 4 games
Avonworth,
before the holiday break, so that's
Yep.
important. That those games, there's 4 games in there that they want to. If they lose tonight, then they only lose 2 during the semester. That's a whole different story than losing a couple down the stretch here getting the holiday break.
Absolutely. So we'll have a face-off at center. Sinzeri will step in with Feldman. Drop the puck and win back for Carrick. Jackal will take it, dump it for Jones, who just dumps up the boards. Avonworth, Leffler can't get to it. Just going to jump in for Sinzeri. He loses the puck on the pass attempt. It's going to be kept in by Jones. Up along the boards, Feldman. Can't get it. He's going to lose it to Sinzeri. Off the other way is Goldfein. Goldfein's going to carry it in. Opportunity shot high and missed. Into the quarter, Sinzeri. They'll battle along. Goldfein behind the net. Or that's McIntyre. Up for Nacy. Zach Nacy will just have it separated from him and back down the ice. Cleared around Leffler. Waits, throws it across for Nacy. Nacy will carry it into the zone. Waits, sticked out by Norkovikis. And carrying it in is Seiferth. Seiferth into the slot, around a couple defenders. Nice play. He gets muscled off.
I'm not sure what the whistle was for.
And we'll see here in a second.
The net may have came off there for a brief moment. Good first shift by Avonworth. It's carrying into a second shift here. They've had some zone time. They need to get some pucks on the net.
Ferrucci. That's enough for Christopher, but it'll be picked up by Avonworth. Dumped in by and past McIntyre. Norkovikis will get it behind the net. And Christopher battles off. 2 Antelope run into each other. That was Seiferth and Roundswinter. Back behind, it'll be Norkovikis. He'll just dump it up and carried out by Ferrucci. Waits, throws it on, save made. Back up to the point, Norkovikis. Shot, glove, save made by Seiferth, and he'll hold on to it.
I think we need to mention, we talked about some players that were playing well for Avonworth. Despite the conditions, Seiferth has actually come in and played very well for
He's played phenomenal so far. It's just, he's given up 2, and it's not, was it 2 or 3?
He's given up 3.
He's given up 3 so far, but
he's
really
given up 3 on 25 shots. So
not many opportunities on the ones that he has been given, that he gave up. So he's nothing.
I believe at least 2 of those were power play goals.
Yes. They'll go out and into the zone. Sinzeri will shoot it. Save made and held on to by
and at the other end, Keedy is probably not going to be seen so much in a 7-2 game is playing well, but 19 shots and 2 goals against statistically isn't sparkling. But he's made some very steady, solid saves when his team needed him to do so.
Sinzeri, back out shot on Newlet. Waits, is up for Tedis. Shot, looks for the tip in front. It's going to be blocked instead, Sinzeri. Jackal will let it go around for Conley. Conley for Tedis. We'll just get out, and here comes Feldman the other way. Feldman, shot. Whew! Lets that one rip.
Got all of that one.
They'll battle along the boards and into the zone. Avonworth will clear it out. Newlet can't hold on to it. Jackal will chase it down, but it'll be an icing call. 14-18 remaining, third period.
Yeah, Feldman came down as a 2-on-1, and I think he had shoot on his mind from the time he crossed the blue line. And shoot he did. He got all that wrist shot, but it also hit all glass.
They're going to line up to the right. Everybody goes to the left. Heidkamp will step in with Leffler. No, I'm sorry, with Nacy. And out comes Goldfane the other way. Norkabikis for Ferrucci. Nice block, and in comes Zeiss Miller. Around for Ferrucci. Down, and Goldfane will carry it out. Nacy can't hold on to it. Ferrucci will just give it right back up to an Antelope player, and it'll be dumped into the zone. Seiferth with a takeaway. And he can't finish anything off of it, so Norkabikis will carry it out of the zone. Offside. Zeiss Miller had a winger, was about 2 feet offsides on the far side.
So we had a good start by Avonworth. I talked about the first shift and a half, seemed to be pretty solid, but again, this is where the difference between the teams is that Carrick's just stayed steady, and Avonworth is kind of dipped. So they're not that they are playing poorly right now, but they're not playing at the same level they played for the first minute and a half or so of the period.
Sinzeri waits for it. McIntyre lets it go. Roudswinter shot off the mask of Keedy.
Keedy never saw that one, and it hit him practically on the neck.
Rounds McIntyre off the post. Zeiss Miller. And it's going to get bounced out to Heidkamp, who gets around a defender. McIntyre into the zone. Heidkamp waits, dumps behind for Ferrucci. Ferrucci will down for Heidkamp. Heidkamp waits, throws it up. Jones. Lexi Jones shot. Blocked off. Gonna go down. Jackal. Nope. Wilco goes going to Jackal, but Schmidt will take it and get. It'll be cleared out of the zone by Avonworth. Jones will collect it. Dump it up for Schmidt. Heidkamp runs into Roudswinter, and it goes out. And we got too many players on the ice.
6 players on the ice for Carrick right now, I believe.
And Carrick will get their second too many players on the ice penalty. 12:24 remaining in the third. Each team with at least one.
Yeah, they had Heidkamp just went into the bench, and there's still, well, there's 4 players on the ice now because Heidkamp went into the bench, and one of the players on the ice went in the box. So there's your 6, counting your goaltender. I would like to repeat again. I gave her a little bit of praise before, but Lexi Jones is just such a steady, solid, reliable defenseman for Carrick. Doesn't need to get involved in the offense, and she knows that. She had a nice shot there that was blockered away, but she's very steady. Every time the puck goes down the ice, she gets it, corrals it, gets her head up, moves the puck back up the ice.
Face-off one out by Carrick, and it'll go the length of the ice. Seems like they just ran that forward, and nobody was available to grab it for Avonworth. Back out for Nacy, who carries it in front of the benches. Into the zone, waits. Goes to the top of the slot, passes down. Back across and out of the zone. It'll be chased down by Tedis from Nacy, and they'll get muscled off. And Hagen will take a penalty for a cross check, and 5-on-3 coming up for a $1.31 here for Avonworth. And we were talking about this in the intermission. You know, Carrick just taking more penalties as they move along.
Yeah, that was a little bit of an awkward play there. Nacy pulled the puck along the boards and had his back to the Carrick player, and looked like he tried to turn away but didn't turn as quickly as the Carrick player thought he would, and ended up getting called for cross-checking, which there might not have been a cross-check there, but it was not enough for a 2 and 10 for check from behind, so cross-check is a good replacement because it's a penalty. But as we talked about, we don't want to give players 12 minutes in penalties when it was only worth 2. That's a good example of that. That was a penalty, but it's not worth 12 minutes.
Sanzeri will just dump it across for Nacy. He'll let it go for Newlett. And it'll be brought in. Sanzeri once again has Lancey at the point. Goes across anyway for Newlett. Up for nobody. Throws it between the 2 defenders in the back point. Sanzeri will chase it down with 56 seconds remaining in the first penalty. And 11:17 remaining in a period. Nacy has a battle with Feldman. Nacy carrying it out of the zone. Waits for it, sets up the offense, slows it down.
A little bit of adjustment here by Avonworth. They do have Gaddy in front of the net now as part of their power play setup. I believe Gaddy's a defenseman.
Burghhockey, and it'll go clear down. Yes, Gaddy has been playing defense for this game so far. Lancey, I'm indifferent to naming players and positions at the high school level because 90% of the time they're going to be playing a different position by the end of the game anyway. So,
well, it's a good position for Gaddy to be playing as net front presence on a 5-on-3.
Well, Jones was playing in front of the net on most of the Carrick power plays.
Right.
So she's playing wing at that point. But like I said, at this point, I don't really pay attention to where anybody's playing because it doesn't really make a difference whether they're forwards or defenders. Ronswander. Oh, just clears it behind. Roundswinter couldn't finish the play. 20 seconds remaining in the second penalty. First penalty expired. Roundswinter. Battles off. And in a corner, it'll be picked up by Avonworth. Carrying it in front and trying to get the cipher. Can't finish it, so it's going to go all the way down for McIntyre. He'll carry it across the blue, red, looking for the second blue. Does get it across the second blue. Into the zone, but picked up. And Ferrucci will get tipped nicely by Leffler. They'll battle off in the boards, Leffler and Feldman. And we got a penalty coming up. And
yeah, that's going to be Avonworth going to the box. It turned into a battle that was kind of physical, and the physical turned into a bunch of cross-checks. I didn't quite catch the number. I could see him, but I can't make out the silver numbers. Leffler threw about 3 or 4 cross-checks in the back of the Carrick player he was originally shouldering. That there was an initial battle, then those 2 came together. I think it was Heidkamp and
Leffler.
Yeah, and Leffler, and Heidkamp stayed down on the puck, and Leffler got his stick into the back of Heidkamp 3 or 4 times, and that's enough. Send him to the box, and we'll go 4-on-3 the other direction.
Well, they're going to go 4 on. There's going to be a regular power play.
5-1. Sorry, yes.
Because you still have the 10 minutes coming up that are being served by Eigenbrod.
My bad. I see people in the box. That's 1 on each side.
Oh, it's a good call. 9:33 remaining here in the third. And Avonworth just put a player in the bench still up.
There was potentially more than just a cross-check called there because Gaddy just went into the box, which makes me think that there is a 2 and 10 handed out
another headshot. Heidkamp, take it, waits, shot, just misses Seifert wide. Roundswinter carries it and just dumps it down to Norkovicus. Norkovicus will battle, and he'll get taken down by Roundswinter. Puck will come back out, and Volmer into the far zone. Norkovicus waits, carries it around, and into the zone. Ian Norkovicus on the backhand just clears around. Jones. Ferrucci battles behind the net. Up for Heidkamp. Across. Norkovicus. Shot just misses high for Heidkamp. Pass it down to the corner. Ferrucci. Jones. For Feldman. Back out for Norkovicus. Feldman, shot, and that goes wide of the net. Heidkamp waits. Roundswinter goes down, ends up outside of the zone. Heidkamp goes high. Back out for Norkovicus. For Feldman, Norkovicus. Heidkamp. Cross for Feldman, shot, low. off the pad and cleared, almost a clip to get cleared out by McIntyre, and a penalty coming up against North Vicus for a trip.
That's going to go. It's Feldman for a trip to confirm the previous penalty that was Leffler with 2 intent for a head contact. Now, I could see the cross checks and several of them from our side, but the angle wouldn't allow me to see whether the one got into the head or not, and I'm sure there wasn't too much objection from anyone on that one. So 2 intent for head contact, one direction. When you're on the power play, you better be nice as nice can be, because things like that can turn into penalties that maybe aren't always penalties. So that's a fair call there, and then we'll go 4-on-4 with 8:03 to go in the period.
30 seconds to go on the first minor. So it'll be a $130 on a power play to Avonworth when this one expires. Face off won by Avonworth. Gold paint for Nacy. Back down. Hagen for North Vicus. Out of the zone, Nacy. Goes, clears up, and out of the zone for Lancey. Into the zone, round 1 defender, shot. Save made by Keedy.
And that whistle blows exactly as the time the Avonworth penalty expires, so exactly a $130 left on the man advantage now, the full length of the man advantage that the Avonworth is going to get, barring any other penalties during this situation. And that was a good scoring opportunity, but again, I talked about Nady being very strong and steady when he needed to be. That was a good opportunity from scoring. He came out, challenged the shooter, and the puck went right into the logo.
Face off. Cleared one by Avonworth. Nacy is up, and he's held and taken down, but no penalty call. That was Mason Hagen. Sinzeri for Tedis over for Lancey. Shot, looks for the tip in front, and it is a save by Keedy.
Another one by Keedy with no rebound. He's doing a good job of controlling those first shots. That looks like, it seems to me that Avonworth, there's one thing that has been a theme, a repeated theme in this game for them, is those shots that looking for tips in front of the net. It's something that they clearly practice. The player in front of the net has a stick down and ready to go. The player shooting is looking in that direction and trying to put it in a spot where the puck can hit the stick.
Puck goes clear all the way down. Seiferth will just dump it up for Volmer. Nacy out of the zone. Nacy comes in and around. Nice play to get around the first defender. Can't get around Jones. He ends up in the net underneath the goaltender Keedy, and it comes all the way back down. They'll put the net back on its moorings, and in comes Avonworth. Nacy carrying it in. And they'll battle it off. Volmer across. Goldfein. They'll battle off and go past Hagen, and it'll go back to Volmer in the neutral zone. Volmer for Tedis, and picked up by Nacy. Nacy gets taken down.
Penalty. Easy hooking call. I like Nacy's ability to get the puck, immediately try to find the north direction and go. And it paid off there. He's had a couple good chances. The one before that, he probably made one too many moves before trying to get a shot off and never got a shot. That time, he just got it again and said, I'll try the same thing, and went north-south, and there was clearly a hook planted into him and a strong one at that. And I believe Feldman had the previous penalty. So 94, you can tell me, sir, who the penalty's on, but it's on Carrick one way or another. And
it
we'll
is
go.
94. The numbers are up on the boards.
Yes, I don't know who the name is, though.
Oh,
so.
that is, that is Hagen.
Okay,
Mason
so
Hagen
and Feldman are in the box, so we'll go 5-on-3 once again.
You got to think they got to get one here at least at some point on one of these 5-on-3s. They'll battle behind, and Carrick will take it and dump it down the ice. It'll go clear all the way out. Seiferth will fall down and get it. Lancey is going to take it, slow it behind his net. 140. Now you're on a 5-on-4. Penalty expires. Down. Oh. Newlett is going to battle around Penrose in there, but Feldman will take its shores. Feldman ran his mouth, is going to take a penalty. He is out of here, and it is now breaking down.
Yeah, it's very unnecessary there. So Feldman made a nice play in the goal. Heidkamp forced a turnover high in the zone. Very quickly got rid of the puck to Feldman. Feldman came right down. Seiferth was trying to be aggressive there, but it was a quick play, so he tried to poke the puck, and Feldman put the puck underneath him, and then for whatever reason decided to taunt the Avonworth players in general after the goal. And Avonworth, of course, being down by 6 now and getting scored on shorthanded, took absolute exception to that. some gloves came up and some little rabbit punches in there. So I would expect the way this game has been called that we'll see at least 1 or 2 2-10s handed out here because of the shots to the head. Now Feldman obviously had the original for the unsportsmanlike. So we'll get it sorted out here, but that makes it an 8-2 hockey game with 5:43 to go. Eidenbrode is headed off. So he was part of that. That we haven't sent a Carrick player off yet. It looks like.
Well, that would be if he was involved in it, then that would be his 4th penalty of the game.
Well, there you
so
go.
If it was a 2-10 and he was his 4th penalty, it would have been his 4th penalty of the game. So that would
nothing gets by you.
Well, I just had this happen a couple games ago. So there was a penalty in up at not Barrel, at Alpha, and one of the members of Shaler was kicked out. Got 2 game misconducts in the same game. So he was out for 2 games.
Gotcha.
And
so there's 2 penalties on the board now added to the board, from 1 on each side. That wouldn't be necessary if there's wash. You don't need any penalties on the board. So there are 2 players from Carrick in the penalty box, 2 players from Avonworth in the penalty box. Some of these are carryover. So we'll see what we end up with here. Because and Eidenbrode, as mentioned, left the ice. So there are at least a couple penalties coming up here on Avonworth. I see Lancey in there. Actually, there's 3 players for Avonworth in the box, 2 for Carrick. 1 was already in there. We had a 2-10 handed out previously.
Oh, they took 1 off the board.
So they took the wrong one off the board, because the one that was up there should have been the one sustaining, because the goal scored by Carrick was shorthanded, so that doesn't clear the penalty. I believe there's about 1:38 left on that one.
They'll re-enter them now.
That's that. As an official in this situation, you don't mind at all that they screw up the clock, because everyone just needs to calm down, and the longer that lasts, the better it is. So 1:27 goes back up on the board on Hagen. There's still a penalty on the Avonworth side. Oh, we're adding a 5, so Eidenbrode did get a penalty there, and it's a 5-minute major, which includes a game misconduct. So he's going to sit a couple, because that's, as you mentioned, that's his 4th and 5th penalties of the game.
And they don't even have the penalty to Feldman up there yet. So
Feldman could have been washed, because I believe there was a 2nd player from Avonworth put in. So Feldman, or could be stacked, because the 5-minute major would take precedent over everything else that was called there. So the 5-minute would go on the board. We'll try to keep our ears open for the call here. There's probably several to read off, so we might not get them all.
We might not get it before they call it. They send this one to Cinderella. Where Cinderella's slipper comes back, and
we all turn into pumpkins.
We all turn into pumpkins and head home. It is a school night, after all.
True. So at 10:54 at night, now the previous game ran long because of a senior night ceremony. I'm not 100% sure what time this game started. The previous game, ended around 9 o'clock, so I don't believe this one started until probably 10 minutes after, a quarter after. But we are pushing
plenty of time
towards the end of our regulation time anyway. With 5:43 to go, that made it 8-2 hockey game. Let's not forget there was a goal scored there that made it 8-2.
It's 4-on-4, so.
Well, that's
something.
It's 4-on-3 actually. There's 3 Carrick players.
Oh, 3.
On the
Okay.
ice.
I thought I saw a 4th one. For Tedis, we'll carry it in. So we'll battle behind, and it'll be Norkovicus will carry it and dump it out of the zone. It'll go all the way down for Seifert.
Norkovicus has been strong on the power play, but I'm going to say, because it doesn't get a lot of attention, he's been stronger on the penalty kill tonight.
And that was his go-to for his first couple years as a varsity player, was they would put him out on the high situation kills, and he would elevate his game in that position. So it's good to see. Right.
So the 3 penalty killers. I mean, again, this is one of the reasons that Carrick is a contender. The 3 penalty killers are Heidkamp, Norkovicus, and Lexi Jones. And if you're going to have a 5-on or 4-on-3 even against you, those are 3 very solid players you're going to put on the ice. They're going to make it even still difficult to score. I mean, it's 5-on-3 or 4-on-3, so there's plenty of ice to be had out there, but those 3 can cover a lot of ground.
Face off one over to Norkovicus, and he'll dump it all the way down the ice. Seifert will let it go, and it'll be picked up by Seifert. Then he'll give it up to Nacy. Nacy across for Penrose. Throws it across. Opportunity shot by Senzeri off the mask. Picks it up, and Friend's going to be picked up by Norkovicus, and he's going to just dump it around the defender. Penrose will chase it in.
Another good save by Nady there.
Absolutely. And cleared out to Seifert, who carries it into the zone and picked up and cleared out. 8 seconds to go on the first minor and carried in. I missed that camera, sorry. Nacy, first penalty expires. 4-on-4 for 32 seconds. Nacy gets tapped over, and it's going to be picked up by Avonworth Sinzeri behind the net. He'll wait, throws it up for Primrose. Can't finish the play. Oh, nice play to keep it in, Penrose. Nacy, shot off of a stick, down. Jones gets dumped in front of the net by Seifert, and it goes down the length of the ice.
It was actually another nice save by Nady there. Keedy, sorry. Looking like he was going to go short side, glove side, but he left his blocker back far enough, and it just absolutely hit the blocker. He didn't move it, it just hit it. He put it in the right spot and made a nice save.
2:56 remaining in the major, so that's all we have on the board. Ferrucci in shot, glove save by Seifert. He quick drops it, and almost in front. Hagen is there, broken stick for Nulette. He'll battle along, and out comes Avonworth. Rounds Winter for Seifert. Gets around a defender, waits, throws it in front, nobody home. Cleared down the ice. Seifert will take it out for McIntyre. 3 to go. 2:17 remaining on the major. And it goes down for Wright. Wright waits, dumps it clear down the ice. Seifert for McIntyre, who carries it out of the zone. McIntyre in, tries to get around the defenders. Wright with a stick check. It'll go in the corner for Goldfein. Goldfein in and around the defenders. Conley on the back. Goldfein collects it, gets him back in his far corner. Looks for McIntyre, can't get it across to him, so it goes to Rounds Winter, and it just ends up getting cleared. 1:36 remaining in the major. 2:15 in the game, so it's just for good measure. It is 10:58 on the terrestrial clock. Goldfein backing around, and there'll be a hit behind the net. Up in front, nobody home. Carrick will just dump it back out of the zone. Tedis will just chase back into his own zone. Gaddy waits and dumps it down into the corner behind Norkovikis. Look out for Conley, who carries it across center. Conley into the zone, shot wide of the net for Seifert. Jake Seifert will just take it out, and they'll go the length of the ice again. McIntyre just let it go and gets around, and they're going to call offside.
Offside.
Offside is the call. 1:27 remaining in the game here. 8-2 is your score. Carrick leading Avonworth.
Yeah, Avonworth's still looking. I mean, again, they're not letting up. Carrick hasn't let up on their side either. Avonworth, again, this is what they need. It's not a bad situation to be in, to be down. You know, there's a value in adversity, right? They're down by 6 in the third period. They can quit and get nothing out of it, or they can keep coming against a good team and learn a few things and maybe prepare themselves. You know, I talked all the time when I was a coach. If you're going to lose, now's a good time of year to lose it, because you know why you lost. You don't blame it on early season jitters or just not being ready for your season or whatever it may be. You're into your season. You should be playing well. When you don't play well, you have to look at reasons why. I mean, they're obviously playing a good team. The teams they lost to this year are obviously at the top of the heap. So if Avonworth wants to join them, they need to do a nice solid evaluation of this game and see what they need to do to get better.
Sinzeri will carry it into the zone. Seifert will get the pass, waits, shot. Oh, it sits behind him, and then he's going to cover it. And the referee lost track of it, and Norkovikis was able to jump back, get a stick in there to block it.
Yeah, that's a tough one as a ref.
I saw the
from
puck.
Our side, we could see it go through. From his side, he couldn't. He waited the extra second, and when Norkovikis went back there and put a stick on it, he blew the whistle.
Puck popped up, yeah.
It was not going to go in one way or another, but it was probably not fully covered either. So we're into the final minute now.
52.7 seconds left. Face-off won by Carrick back out to the point. Tedis will get it across for Sinzeri. Sinzeri's shot blocked. Ferrucci will just dump it down the ice. And they wave off the icing. Seifert will take it, dump it down, and it's going to go back for Norkovikis. He's just going to take it back, and they'll play catch in their own zone looking for the outlet. Tedis will have it bounced off for Ferrucci's stick, and 22 seconds to go in this one. They'll clear it up to the point. Heidkamp just backhands it in, 15 to go. Ferrucci for Nacy, and out for Nacy. He'll go out of the zone. Roundswinter will carry it in, 7 seconds to go, gets it around. Rokovikas will take it and just skate it behind with 1-0. End of the game. 8-2 is your final here. Carrick and Avonworth, in what was an interesting game to say the least.
Yeah, it had its moments, some good, some not so shining, but we talked early in the pregame about the start of the game being kind of the factor when you have an offensively strong team like Carrick and a defensively strong team like Avonworth. How is that going to go? And that's usually sorted out pretty early of which direction, which side one team, one way or another. Right. Sometimes it's 50-50 in the first portion of the game, and you battle it down to the end. When you get an 8-2 hockey game, it looks bad, but it was 4-0 pretty quickly. The offensive team came out and said, "We're the better team. Your defense is good, but our offense is better." And Carrick definitely made a statement early on and went up 4-0. And if you think about it, an 8-2 hockey game doesn't look so great, but you can take those 4 away because they're all legitimate. But a 6-goal differential doesn't sound so bad when you realize you were down 4-0. It's still bad. As I mentioned, I think the important thing for Avonworth is to realize if they want to contend this year, which I believe they're perfectly capable of doing, that these are the teams they need to hang with. And an 8-2 score doesn't look great. So instead of blaming it on early season or inexperience or whatever it may be, this is a chance to look at the Pittsburgh Hockey Digest replay. Check it out on the YouTube channel at any point in the next couple weeks and kind of break down their own film and see where their deficiencies are, because it's a team that's perfectly capable of making a playoff push, but they have some ground to close on teams like Carrick and Canevin.
All games are available to rewatch whenever you want, however you want, and unfortunately I don't know if that first one is from this game because I didn't turn it off when you were playing your music, so I might have to go in and adjust it, but we should be all right.
That's someone's fault. The guy playing the music's fault.
With that being said, your final here, Carrick 8, Avonworth 2. I'm Brian Mitchell. That was Dave Fryer. Thank you for joining me. Next week we'll be back, I believe, on, I want to say Tuesday. It will be at Alpha Ice Complex. It will be the Upper St. Clair Panthers and the Central Catholic Vikings. Final game in November. I'll be there. I'll try to figure out if anybody else is going to be there with me, but you never know. Surprises. No, it's just some surprises. Enjoy the remainder of your evening. Once again, your final score is Carrick 8, Avonworth 2. Take care, guys.